Hey there everybody, Shiratora 1979, Robert, here once again doing a late night video that I'm doing off the cuff. As you can see, I was getting ready for bed. What I normally do when I go to bed is I watch a little bit of YouTube as I'm falling asleep. Luckily my wife lets me use her laptop when I do that. When a friend of mine sent me a video that Nathan supposedly made to me. Because I didn't know he had made a response to me. Because he has me blocked, he did not put this on a reply video. He just made a video, so there's no way for me to know he has done response to my response of his astronomy videos. Okay, so I want to make this point forward. Nathan, if you want to carry on a conversation with somebody, if you want to talk with them, you need to unblock them. You need to, actually hold two-way conversation. But apparently you don't want to do that because you keep deleting my comments, you ignore my emails. So apparently you're going to... what you might be planning to do, and this was pointed out to me in this email, was it'd go a few days where I didn't hear about it, hear about your new video, and you would claim victory over me. Funny. I will say this about your video, at least it was fairly respectful, if wrong in quite a few points. Alright? Now, first and foremost, as far as me talking about the way you mispronounced it, it's because you were trying to make yourself come off as an astronomer, that you knew your stuff. Alright? And by you mispronouncing it so badly, alright, not just mispronounce it, but mispronounce it so badly, it just made you seem foolish. Alright? I make mistakes when I mispronounce things, and I say, hey, I'm sorry, I mispronounced it. You go up, you make a little caption and say, yes, I'm mispronouncing, I apologize. Alright? You don't even do that, so... Alright, to move on. You are... Even your description of your video says, Shiratora and the rest of the pagan community. You know what? I want to point out once again, I am not a pagan. Don't follow pagan traditions. I don't believe in the gods they do. And I have said before, I would love if they became Christian, all right? I mean, I just don't believe in attacking things like that, and I'm not going to force anybody to believe as I do. Talk to any of them who talk with me on a regular basis. So, I don't like your little description. In fact, you'd even put me, the video is directed towards me, and you don't even put me in the tagline. So in fact, most of your tagline has nothing to do with the video. So, anyway, you want me to answer some questions. I noticed you actually don't deal with the main subject matter of my video response to you. Alright? I want to point out some things that you've got wrong. One, I don't believe the English translations of the Bible are necessarily inspired by the Word of God. You see, He preserved it. Yes, that's why the Eastern Orthodox Church read from the Hebrew and the Greek. Most of our services are done in Greek when we do it from the New Testament. You want to know why? Because that's what the New Testament was. Majority, there were some others, there's exceptions, was written in. You cannot have true, accurate translations from one language to another. You can't do it, period, end of story. There is so much in Greek that is untranslatable to English. Now, that is in modern day Greek, all right? That is in modern day. Now, when I say untranslatable, I'm talking a simple translation. If you want to get accurate translations, one word can include long descriptions. Such as, let's just deal with some ancient Greek. Did you know they did not have a concept of better and best? It was done in absolutes. It's like, I either love you or I hate you. There is no middle ground. Alright? They didn't have an idea of stages of good. You're either good or you're evil. That's it. We do. Alright? So, trying to explain better and best to them would not hold water, would say they don't understand. Now, to get to your point, when you're saying James, you said James chapter, and I have my Bible here, you're talking about James chapter 5, verse 16. Now, our translation is transgressions. We confess our transgressions one to another. Now, if we look back into the original language, It means sins. It means fault. Faults, sins, faults, transgressions. It's all the same thing. We are to do it one to another. Now, in the early church, the tradition was that you would stand before the congregation, not just the priest. You would stand before the congregation and admit that, because we would not allow non-Christians. We would to be through it the entire service. There are certain parts that were just for Christians to partake, such as communion. So we would have catechumens or visitors leave at certain points. All right, that way they would not partake of certain things that were meant for Christians and Christians only, and that still carries over to today. Now, we don't kick them out anymore. You know, it's a much more open environment, but we do not allow them to take the sacraments, certain sacraments such as communion, because that is reserved for the followers of Christ. All right? Now, so when the churches as a whole started letting people come in, all right, they started doing the idea of confessing to the priest, because the priest is a Christian. All right. Now, he himself, as I've tried to explain to you, all right, which apparently you are not listening. You can look at some of my videos and comments if you haven't deleted them, that I say the priest, we confess, God is the one who forgives the sin. He doesn't have us forgive them, but he can keep us accountable here on earth, and even keep us accountable to ourselves, such as a sin that you keep on doing over and over and over, and you keep on every week. It's the same thing over, and the priest can say, you know what, you're probably really not repentant, you're not really sorry, or this is considered a stronghold sin. Let's get you help to get out of it. All right? It is supported by doctrine. Even the one you said, it says sins. Now, here's the problem is, when you get English translations, you can translate it all sorts of ways. In fact, King James has been well known, well documented, to leaving out books and verses and retranslating, tweaking it a little bit to make it say what he wants to. A very good example of this would be the Ten Commandments. He had it say, thou shalt not kill. You want to know why he did that? Is so rebellion would not rise up against him. All right? It's one of the most perfect, because if you killed, all right, you cannot be a soldier, you cannot be everything. So don't kill. Christians don't kill. And since a majority of the people that were in his country were Christians, he could say, well, you're damning your soul if you kill anybody. Well, the more accurate translation would be, thou shalt not murder. Now, a more accurate translation than that, if you read Hebrew and understand it, would be, do not take the life of your fellow man with a vengeful, lustful heart, meaning a personal killing. If I'm a soldier and I kill someone on the field of battle, if I have someone coming in trying to kill my wife or whatever, and I kill that person, it is not a sin by biblical standards. All right? So, when we talk about the English, no, I don't believe in sola scriptura, which is what you're talking about, which is the Bible alone, totally, it's completely without contradiction. When you're getting into an English translation, of course there's going to be contradictions, of course there's going to be mistranslations, you can't get around it. That is why, when he said his word will endure forever, well, if you want to understand that, you go back to the Hebrew, you go back to the Greek. All right? I really hope you understand that. Now, I'm going to do a quick part 2 because I'd rather be thorough in this response. So give me a second. I'll do a part 2 here in a minute.